I'll do this. Just a second.
There.
Yeah, now it's working?
Now it's working.
So, do I do the whole intro again?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone! Welcome to Quantum Catechesis. I'm Father Joe Krupp, and you're not. And that's the third intro I've done for one show because this is the best Thursday ever. The people in this room that I love, I have so much love for the people in this room that we can't fit in this room. So, who is here, you may ask? Would you like to ask that?
Who's here?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
Mrs. K is here.
Yay.
Yay, Karen. Martha's here. You didn't yay.
Yay.
Okay, Marius is here.
Yay.
Yeah, you don't have to cheer him on. Marius isn't bad. Oh, and our guest, who you're going to meet in just a minute. She's sitting right here, but you can't see her because she's wearing camouflage. And... No?
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, no, actually, it would be a bad habit for her to wear camo. I know, it was too easy. We'll have none of those jokes.
Gotta go now.
Yeah. So in a moment, we're going to meet our guest today. But first, let me tell you this. How awesome is our guest? I will tell you. For those of you who know where I live, when I want to turn left out of my driveway, it can literally take 15 minutes. The traffic is packed because of a stoplight right to my right, and we're on a major highway. 4 lanes. Well, really 5.
Sure.
Today, Sister's in my truck, and she's like, "Get me coffee." I said, "Yes, Sister." She's so mean. And when we came out, it just parted. And this has never happened to me. I've lived here almost 4 years now. And I just turn left. And Sister has power. Now, how do I know Sister? Well, my sister, Lori, told me about this awesome nun that I then met on Twitter and started following. And she's a goddess. And we had so much fun with her over the years, and I was so blown away by her love, by her faith, by her joy. I read her articles in that Horizons.
At the Horizon.
At the Horizon, which is a blog where the sacred meets the ordinary. It's on Facebook. If you get a chance, it's very worth your time. And anyway, so we asked her, "Sister," and then she said, "Yeah." And we said, like, "Oh my gosh, would you like totally come here and do a mission?" And she was like, "I'll need some cheese." So she laid down her intense financial demands, which were like, "Well, can you get me there?" And I thought that was a lot, Sister. I thought that was really mean.
Yeah.
But we did it because she's awesome. So let's give a warm Quantum Catechesis welcome to Sister Teresa MacDonald. Woohoo!
Yay!
Did you do the thing, that button? I don't hear it. Do you hear it?
The clapping?
Have bat-like hearing.
I heard the clapping.
Wow. So, Sister, welcome.
Thank you.
We're so happy you're here.
I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, now, before we get into the whole, how did you end up in prison and the breaking out and okay, tell us a little bit about your trip here yesterday.
That was interesting. So I left Halifax, Nova Scotia, where I'm from, the most amazing place in the world.
Yes.
And I flew to Toronto, Ontario, and missed my flight to Detroit, and ended up in a terminal that I wasn't supposed to be in, and thought I was sleeping in the airport in Toronto. And then Carrie, who I would like it on the record, is the single most amazing person I've ever met.
Yeah.
And she deserves a raise, and I'm going to start petitioning for that.
Absolutely.
Got me on a different flight to Detroit. And then somebody picked me up at the airport. Deacon Dan picked me up at the airport, and I've been spoiled rotten since I got here.
Well, you earned that, sis. You did.
It was a good time.
You being here is an answer to our prayers. And what we're going to do today, I want people to get to know you a little bit. Okay. If they have any questions, submit those questions here. And I'll ask Sister Teresa as long as her legal counsel allows you to answer.
Yes, I have my parole officer in my ear, so they're going to let me know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, first of all, let's talk about, you're going to do a mission here.
I am.
But I'd like to get to know you a little first.
Sure.
So tell us about, where were you born? Were you born in Halifax?
I was born in Ottawa.
Okay.
But we moved to my family.
Oh, I was saying we because French.
No,
You
I'm
said
not
Ottawa.
French.
I know, but
Yeah, no.
MacDonald.
Yeah. No, don't do that.
But
Don't
you
do
said
French.
Ottawa, so
Yes.
it's like, we.
No, I didn't say Ottawa. I said Ottawa.
Ottawa.
Okay.
Like a Wisconsinite.
Okay, I don't know what he's saying there. I can't understand him.
I need to thump a tibia bone on the
I'm gonna
case
need
floor.
subtitles.
Yeah. So she came from Ottawa. Ottawa.
And we moved to Nova Scotia when I was 3, so I am a blue noser and a maritimer. Those are the two things we call ourselves. I don't know why. I know why, but it's not
Where
worth
did
saying.
Blue Noser come from? From the cold?
No, because there is a famous schooner sailing ship called the Blue Nose. It's
Oh.
on our 10-cent piece, which we call a dime.
Okay.
And it was famous for sailing and racing.
Oh, cool.
And so it's still, we have the Blue Nose too, I think, and they do tours. So we call ourselves Blue Nosers.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's adorable.
I like it.
And so I grew up in Nova Scotia, just
Okay.
outside the city of Halifax, which you won't know because it's not very big, but it's awesome.
Oh, yeah. And did you grow up like a practicing Catholic?
So we practiced sometimes, sure. My parents both had faith, but I think life gets in the way,
Yeah.
like it does. But when I was in high school, I had an experience of faith where I really, somebody really shared with me about God's love for me,
Yes.
not just, God loves the world.
Yes.
And it, as a insecure 16-year-old,
Oh, yeah.
right, that meant everything. So I gave my life to God and I never looked back.
Oh,
I mean, I tripped and fell a few times,
Oh,
but
sure.
who doesn't?
But in terms of the decision, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
oh yeah, you know, it was 16 for me too.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
And it was actually the same idea that all of a sudden it was like, I know God loves everyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that's tight.
Yeah.
So what? You went to high school there, and then what was next for you?
Graduated from high school in 1987. And then I applied and was accepted to Net Ministries, which you're familiar with, but in
Yeah.
case other people aren't.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Stands for National Evangelization Teams. It's an American ministry that does peer retreats for high school students, and it's grown over the years, and it does a lot more. But I came to St. Paul, Minnesota, and I spent a year doing Net, which is where I met your sister Lori.
Superstar.
Yay! And my favorite person ever.
Yeah.
She actually was a huge influence in my life in terms of coming to a place of accepting myself as somebody that God loved and
Yeah.
and made me beautiful.
Yeah.
That was, she had a really big impact in that area of my
cool.
life. Yeah.
I love that
I don't
girl.
know if she knows that, so if she's watching, she does now.
Yay!
Yay.
Lori, did you know that?
We'll find out.
She wrote back, of course. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Wouldn't that be awesome? She's like, I know.
I know.
So you did Net for a year.
I did. I was on Net for a year. I extended my commitment to Net and went to Australia. We were part of a team that kind of blitzed the continent to introduce Net there.
Sure.
So that they could build up a ministry. Then when that was over, I went home, worked for a year, and then came back and did a second year of Net.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so in Net, for those not familiar, like Sister was saying, that they travel, but a ton of traveling.
Yes.
Like it was get in a van, pack in a van with a trailer, go somewhere, live there for a week or so.
Yep.
And minister, and then just get and go again.
That's right.
And can you tell me is there a place that you guys visited and ministered at that you will never forget?
Yes. So my second year of Net, I know you want me to say Grand Rapids and Montrose because
No.
that's where you're from, but
No,
that's not it.
I would not.
My second year of Net, my team started out in Minnesota, and we were doing a lot of like farming parishes.
Yeah, sure.
So you're doing prayer ministry, and these kids are like, "Can you pray for the cow to give birth?" And you're like, "Sure, okay."
Because if not, that would be an utter disaster. It would behoove you. It would behoove you to pray with them.
It would be nice for you to stop now.
Okay, because I don't want to steer you in the wrong place. All right, I'm sorry.
So then when we left Minnesota, I'm going to pretend like that didn't all happen.
Yeah.
And we went to New York City.
Oh, nice.
And we drove from Minnesota to New York, and our first stop was Harlem.
Okay.
And we got out of the truck, and our contact person's like, "Don't leave anything in the van. You can't leave anything in the van because it'll get stolen." And
Yeah.
then once we were there for 24 hours and everybody realized we were with this religious order that was hosting us, it was fine. But then we were doing retreats where I had young girls in my small group ask me to pray because people were trying to get them to join a gang.
Yeah.
And their boyfriend was being pressured to join a gang. And I thought, don't you have a cow you want me to pray for? Like, this is really intense, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was the most memorable thing because they were hungry for love. And so when you go into, and I love Minnesota, and Minnesota holds a special place in my heart, but these were kids who lived in good family situations, and so already had an understanding of love. Whereas when we were in New York, we were dealing with young people who didn't have that.
Yeah.
And so when you would come in and you would talk to them, they'd be like, "Oh, you're talking to me?" Like, they just were so moved by that.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, and the contrast was phenomenal. I was 19 years old. I had no idea what to expect, and that absolutely blew me away.
Man.
Yeah.
You know, you said 19 years old, and I have to tell you something. We had a Net Australia team stay with us, and the way they said the number 19 almost resulted in fistfights. 19. 19.
19.
We're like, her name's Nadine? No, she's 19. She's 19. It led to some problems. Anytime someone says 19, all I can hear is this Australian, 19.
It's too bad you can't do an Australian accent to really get the joke
That's
across.
the only thing I can do in Australian. 19.
19.
19. G'day, mate. I guess I can do that. Kinda.
Every accent I do ends up sounding
Scottish!
like a Newfoundlander.
Okay, let's hear a Newfoundlander accent.
I can't do it. I'm not a circus monkey, man. I
Yes,
can't
you
just
are.
perform
Get her
on-
a squeeze box. But that's your accent.
No, my accent is Nova Scotia. It's very different.
Oh, right.
Now, a Cape Breton accent is the one I'm used to, which is very Scottish.
Okay.
So, quick story. When my grandfather passed away, we were at the funeral home, and this older man came over to me, and he said he wanted to give his condolences. And he looked at me, he said, your grandfather was a beautiful, beautiful man. And that's how they say, that was how they would say beautiful.
Beautiful.
He's a beautiful, beautiful man. It's awesome. My family, if they're watching, is mortified right now, but that's okay. They're used to it.
This is just Thursday. Or is this Thursday?
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Yes. The best Thursday ever, because did we mention Karen and Martha and Sister Teresa?
I know. Doesn't get any better than
I
this.
don't deserve such good people in my life. I think that all the time, in the best way. Like, anyway. Okay, very important question.
Okay,
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Got your theology belt buckled on?
Got it on.
Has your luggage arrived?
Jesus be praised. Thank you. You know what? I think there
That's a
were.
question.
Oh, it's
Has
a
your
question.
luggage arrived?
Oh, you said your luggage has arrived.
I very clearly said, has your luggage arrived?
No, I don't know.
We don't know.
You got my hopes up. I'm
Oh, poo. I thought you were saying Jesus be
just gonna
praised
go
that
over in the
came here.
corner and cry because I don't
well,
know
but
yet.
isn't it this? Isn't this your luggage?
No, it's a suitcase full of white turtlenecks. I don't understand the problem. People are like, "What do you have to pack?" I'm like, 100 white. I might not want to wear this white turtleneck. I might want to wear the other one.
Yeah. Yeah.
know.
I get you.
Yeah.
It's like when did everyone see this is from Martha. Can people
Move your
see it?
beard.
Move my beard?
There we go. Salad pray.
Oh, my beard smells nice. My beard smells nice. I want that on the record.
Thanks for the update.
Yeah. Okay. Marius. So you know what happened? You know what this is? Martha gave him TREATS, and he wants more. This dog will never be grateful. He is a treat addict. Marius.
I get that. I understand Mary's pain.
Yeah. I feel that way about
And
her
I feel
cookies.
like it's not a problem for you to keep doing this.
Those were your cookies, right, Mark? Did you have the chocolate chip?
I did
heaven?
not, and there's only one reason why I didn't, and that's because.
Loser? Sorry, that was Teresa.
Sorry, what?
That was Carrie.
Wait, what?
Carrie's drunk.
If I had one, I would have had 10.
See, I was very disappointed. I had 9.
I'm not worthy to be in your presence. How did you do that?
I hear it all the time, mostly in my head.
Right, but
Yeah.
you shouldn't listen to those voices.
No, I'm okay. Oh, in fact, today we were staying at one of those meetings with the public school people where we were talking about, all the different crises in schools and what do we do and do we have an emergency plan? And next to it, I had my notepad which says on the cover, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then it was, I thought, oh no, so I pull out the other one and it was, I just do what the voices in my head tell me.
He's a professional to the bitter end.
Yeah. So sis,
Yes.
after Connect, we always called it that jokingly, and I have no idea why.
Yes.
What did you do? Did you go right into the convent?
No, I did not. I was telling somebody yesterday my vocational story because we were in Ohio doing retreats my first year of NET when I saw Notre Dame sisters. We were at a school where they were the teachers.
Oh, cool.
And it was the first time I'd ever seen a nun in a habit.
Yeah.
And I really felt at one point like the Lord was just whispering in my heart, like, you could do that.
Yeah.
And of course my response was, no, I couldn't.
Yeah. No, thank you, Lord.
No. See, all my friends were getting jobs and getting married, and they were going to have kids, and that's what you do if you're normal, and I just want to be normal.
Yeah.
So when I finished NET, I went home. I kind of moved around jobs a little bit.
Yeah.
I settled into working in what we call back home homes for special care, so group
nice.
homes for
That's right.
mentally handicapped people.
Yeah.
And it was just temporary. I was going to be a travel agent. And so while I was looking for a job as a travel agent, I took this kind of fill-in job and stayed there for 14 years. So it was just temporary.
Yeah, okay. It's just a little
bit.
Brief.
And during those 14 years, the Lord just slowly opened my heart to. And what I realized in the end was, and honestly what my prayer was when I made the decision to talk to the vocations director was, Lord, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
So I need to just do what it is you want me to do and stop fighting. And I have I've never regretted it. I've not had one day as a sister where I thought, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
It is really cool.
I always told people my whole life, I felt like I got off the elevator on the wrong floor. And
Excellent.
It looked like it's supposed to look, but I know I'm not in the right spot. And it really wasn't until I was in seminary and understood what a priest was. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a spicy meatball. So, what made you join the religious order you joined?
So the vocations director for our diocese at the time was a friend of mine.
Okay.
He was new to Canada. He was from Italy.
Okay.
And so I set up an appointment to talk to him about helping me to find a religious community that I would be that would work, and that this would be where I would be able to do ministry. And unbeknownst to me at the same time, the Lord was speaking to him about helping young women discern a vocation.
Oh, cool.
So he was going to open a house. He already opened a house for men to discern priesthood.
Okay.
And he wanted to do something similar for women. So when I met with him, he said, I have this thing I want you to do. Pray about this. Help me run the house for the women. I said, okay, I'll pray about it. So we met again in a week, and over that week, I knew that wasn't what I was supposed to do, that I was supposed to enter into my vocation.
Okay.
So I was going back to say, no, sorry. And when we got to the meeting, he said, he's Italian, so he always has to talk first.
Sure. And with his hands.
Yeah, and with his hands. So, I'm going to go in there. I've got this big speech all ready to say no. And he goes, so I've been praying about this, and I feel like that's not what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't know why I'm praying if the Lord is just going to speak to you about me.
Why was I necessary in this equation?
Right?
Yeah.
And so he was called to start a community in our diocese.
Okay.
So we are the Franciscans of Halifax because it's the Archdiocese of Halifax, Yarmouth. And we only exist in that diocese. And we're
Okay.
just a baby community. We started in 2005 and we're very new.
Yeah, I guess so.
And we have sisters and brothers. We're small community still. We're striving to grow slowly so that we don't get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And so we're, working on all the technical stuff like statutes and constitutions and vision and all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
And just praying for the grace to do what it is that God wants us to do and to be obedient to that, which is challenging.
Oh, very much.
Yeah.
Very much. And do you do the big three? Like, do you guys do poverty too? Okay.
Poverty, chastity, and obedience. And
yeah.
Franciscans, because we follow the rule of St. Francis.
Yeah.
And so Franciscan religious, you can always spot them because they wear the cord with the 3 knots.
Sure. Okay.
And that's to remind us of our vows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, do you live in community then?
I do. So right now, our brothers live in the rectory next to
Okay.
a church that we minister in. And then our sisters are in 2 different houses. One's in the city and one's in the country. So I'm responsible for the house in the country, but I'm also responsible for all the sisters.
Okay.
So I have to make trips into the city.
Sure.
Keep an eye on them, make sure they're not getting
Yeah.
up to trouble. Yes, I'm talking about you.
Yeah. And do you ever like pull out your 9 and bust a cap in someone? You know, if they get.
I don't understand the words that are coming out of your
I
mouth.
don't either.
right
I
now.
saw it on TV once, and it felt like a good question.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
So, can you tell us what's a regular day look like?
oh well, we don't have regular days.
Okay.
Which is really fun.
Yes.
Everything changed a lot with the pandemic,
Ugh, yeah.
universally, right?
Yep, I get you.
But right now, every house has morning prayer together, and the
Okay.
start time for that depends on ministry needs. We pray together, morning prayer. We do adoration together every
Nice.
day. We do evening prayer together. The liturgy of the hours,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
We're obliged to do those. Evening prayer, and we have meals together. Depending on ministry, so our city convent, they have supper together.
Okay.
We do what we call pickup for lunch and breakfast, because you're kind of on the go. It's more challenging and less traditional in an active community,
Yeah.
because you're out and on the go, as opposed to
Sure.
a cloister convent where you're all home all day.
And what do you do? What would your ministry be most days?
It's whatever God puts in front of us. So
Okay.
one of the things when we started this community was it was about being present in the diocese and supporting the Church of Halifax.
Okay.
And we weren't sure what that was going to look like, but it's always been our desire to answer a need when it comes.
Yeah.
Oddly, my ministry for several years became filling in as parish secretary.
Oh, get out of here.
We would, it happened 4 times in a row,
Yeah.
where somebody, the secretary would leave suddenly. They would call Father and say, can you help? Yep, I'll send Sister Teresa and she'll fill in till you get somebody. And then that would end, and
Yeah.
I'd go home and be like, now what? And then the phone would ring and be like, we got another parish. Four times in a row, I think it happened.
Wow.
3 times. Yeah, so it just became this really fun thing where I was
sure.
like, I'm just going in to be a parish secretary. And I had no experience as a secretary, but I don't do it for pay, obviously. And I used to joke with the priests and the parents, be like, well, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And you're not
Yeah.
paying me anything, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was, but we also we have a sister who does religious education.
Okay.
We have a sister who does pastoral ministry, so she helps a big part of that is organizing funerals, which,
Okay.
as you
Oh,
know,
wow.
is
Yeah.
a huge job.
Huge.
At any point in time when you have 4 or 5 in a week.
Yep.
And other sisters are studying. I did my time studying.
Where'd you go?
I went to the Dominican University College in Ottawa
Okay.
and studied theology with the Dominicans.
Oh, wow.
I think my time in purgatory's done.
I was just gonna say, because it's tough to. It's so funny when you look at like the founders of an order versus the order hundreds of years later, and for me, Dominicans and Jesuits are 2 orders where you're like, that's pretty far from your dudes.
Is that what he meant?
Yeah. So it is why. So okay, I just have lots of guesses, and we
Sure,
were going to
yeah.
make religious jokes, which no one will get.
Right.
And the people who will get them will probably be offended.
Yes.
So we're going to move on.
We're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
They're
we're
all funny in my head, though.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks.
So we have a question.
Okay.
Are you a Leafs fan? Do you know Father Costello, who was I think they mean Leaf, became a priest and founded the Flying Fathers hockey team?
I don't know him personally because I
Okay.
think he died when I was a child.
Okay.
I am aware of the Leafs. That's a game with a puck on ice.
Okay.
I'm all about the sports games.
Sure. And
Sure, yeah.
The point scoring
Yeah,
and
yeah.
things
Like I
of
think
that nature.
isn't like University of Michigan a really good school for
Not really.
sports.
No.
I
They
heard
used
that.
to
I
be. Back
heard
around the
that.
Civil War.
I heard that they were the
yeah.
ones, right? The blue.
Yeah, they used to be really good. And then the real world caught up.
Okay.
So
Because isn't that where Jesus went to school?
he went to MSU. That's where Jesus went.
No, I don't think that's right.
So you're just a girl, right? And
That is true. I am a girl.
although, do you know what? Little piece of trivia. I don't know if you know this. The University of Michigan was founded by a Catholic priest.
There you
Father
go.
Gabriel Richard.
Oh, okay.
Yep. He
Didn't know that
founded the
because
University of
I'm
Michigan.
not from Michigan.
Yeah, and you should thank the Lord every day.
Okay.
Although, let me ask you this, because I read an interesting thing, that Michigan is one of the lowest sunlight states in the U.S. That it's less to do with how far north we are and more to do with the lakes all around us.
Right.
That for some reason we get less sunshine than most states in the Union. What about where you are? Because you're close to water.
We are close to water. We are on the ocean.
Yeah, that's
Which is-
that's what I meant. Sorry,
Yeah.
but so now, did you get a lot? Like, have you seen the sun lately?
No.
Okay.
So
No,
we
'cause
go.
we saw it,
yeah,
two
yeah,
days
no.
ago.
It-
2 days ago.
Yeah,
we
get a
sun.
lot of over. You can go days where it's just overcast
Oh,
every day.
sure.
I don't know. So on Instagram and Twitter, I would got into a routine of just posting the skyline
Yeah.
at the convent where I live because it's amazing. And then I stopped, and somebody's like, "You don't post that anymore." I'm like, "Because it's the same every day in the winter.
Yeah.
It's just gray.
Same here.
It's just gray every day." In fact, a couple of the sisters use those lamps, the light lamps,
Yeah.
right, for the vitamin D and stuff, because you just go forever without it. But I live in a cave in the dark, so it doesn't bother me.
Okay.
It's fine.
Well, I found, like, what I find every year, it gets harder for me that we don't see the sun for 3 or 4
Yeah.
months, and it's kind of wild. Like I never noticed.
Yeah.
And like the last 5-6 years, it really starts to mess with my head.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. Dad and I went down to a car show in Florida 3 Januaries ago with some of my family. And my first day there, it was like, "Son, I remember you, giant ball of flame." And so we get in the ocean and we're swimming and having a great time. And there were all these people on the shore, like, looking at us. And I figured, well, it was my stunning physique. Of course. No, but what it was they were like,
It's
"That
winter
water's
time."
cold. The air's cold."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "It's 70.
Yeah.
And they
it's-
were cold.
It's all relative, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Anyway,
yeah.
We tried to explain to them, you don't understand, from November till February, we can draw pictures of the sun and go, "That's what it looked like."
Yes. Yeah. I can Google image it. I'll do that to remember.
Oh, how
Wait, what
far
was that
are
thing?
you from the ocean? Someone asked. Like, can you spit out your window and hit the ocean?
Not now, but we did live in a house where when you stepped out on the patio, the ocean was right there. One of the things we do is, our dining room table was there. So we'd be sitting at the table talking, and then all of a sudden one of the sisters who's facing them would go, "Cruise ship," and we'd all stop what we were doing and turn around and watch the cruise ships come in. And one of the things about living there was in the summer, in July mostly, a fog bank would it was amazing. It would just sit off the coast and we could see it. And then it would slowly roll in and then it would roll back out, but then it would just sit there so you could see it. And so we'd be in the fog and you drive 10 minutes towards the city and you just come out of it and the rest of the city be sunshine. And you're like, "Oh, it's really nice in here."
Microzone. Someone just explained this to me. Some cities have what they call, like, microclimates or something.
We absolutely have that.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into this, if
Okay.
you're comfortable. And if you'd rather it be a surprise, you just tell me, right? Where do you think you're going with this mission? Do you,
Probably up to the church, that's so.
Not where you were
something about Jesus or God or something?
I assume we're going to the church.
Yeah.
That's not what he meant. Oh, you meant theme.
You
not
know, I
geography.
could do this voice if you want.
That would help.
So, sister, let
That
me
would help.
ask you. No, what do you think? What do you think the Lord's calling you to talk to us about?
Sacrifice.
Nice.
So that was the theme I was given,
Yeah.
and I thought it was an amazing theme. But I'm going to do something that was done to me all through my formation as a novice that drove me crazy. Our founder was our novice instructor, and he would say, we're going to talk about this. But in order to talk about this, we have to talk about that.
Yeah.
So he'd spend like 45 minutes talking about that, and then 5 minutes talking about this. So I'm going to talk about sacrifice, but I have to cover some background information first.
Yes. Oh, sure.
And it's no secret. I'm going to start off talking about love.
Yeah.
Because sacrifice done outside of love is just painful.
Yes. And not necessarily helpful.
I would never say it bears no fruit, because I think God can use everything.
Yeah.
But it's not as fruit bearing as when it's done in love.
Yes. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Who do you think, is there a special audience this is geared toward, or what would you encourage for people who should come to this?
Anybody can come to this.
Nice. Okay.
Anybody can come to this. Now, parishioners are probably going to hear a lot of things they've already heard before. I've been listening to Father Joe's Sunday homilies now for a couple of years. Because it's funny. And what I've noticed is, as I'm praying through this theme of sacrifice and love, and I'm listening to you on Sunday, I'm like, okay, he just said that, so I don't need to say that.
I'm sure you do.
And I was going to say that too. But I know that I'm going to say it in different words.
Sure.
Maybe a little less sophisticated, so people will understand me better.
And
right?
then I'll rip my
Yes.
glasses off.
Take off your monocle.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
Yes.
It's an excellent point, sister.
Yes, that's exactly what I expect from you.
Do you know my brother Paul, who is the master of practical knowledge, right? He's an engineer.
Okay.
And I started off a homily one time, and I was serious. I just said, I'm going to talk about some things I talk about a lot, but I just think they're that important. And, blah, blah, blah. And afterward, he told me, people don't remember. Joe, it's just, there's so much that enters our heads.
Exactly.
And, and to me, like, Father Carl Pung is my confessor. So both times that I've sinned, I've gone to him. Today.
This morning.
Yeah, this morning. Well, since
Before
lunch.
Mass.
Since lunch. But at one point, the Lord gave him a word, and he hit me with it, and I was like, wow, right? And so I write it down, and I'm thinking, all of a sudden I look at him and said, this is so powerful. And as I'm rejoicing in it, I was like, I swear the Lord said something like this before. And he said it was his conviction. He said, I've been hearing confessions for 100 years. It takes 3 times of really hearing something for it to sink into our brain. The first time, you're overwhelmed by the newness. The second time, it goes a little deeper. And then the third time, it just sinks.
I think, too, it depends on where you are spiritually and mentally and emotionally. So, paragraph A of the talk may really strike you, but you miss B.
Yes.
Right? So then the next time you hear it, you hear B and go, I've never heard this before.
Yeah.
Right? And so I remember, once a month, all the sisters gather together and we have a sisters retreat. It's kind of ongoing formation, but a chance to really pray with what we're hearing. And so up until recently, our moderator, Father Pio, was giving us these retreats. And I record them because I have a terrible memory. And I like to go back and listen to them. And I was going back listening to one of the talks, and at the end, as a side comment, he said, remember, we exist because God loves us. And it just struck me. It was something I knew, I know in my brain that I'm here because God loves me. But the way he said it was just so beautiful, because it's true. If he hadn't thought of me, if he didn't love me, I wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
And so you can hear the same message, but receive it differently.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are.
Oh, it's so crazy we're talking about this. I just told Dad this morning, sitting there reading the breviary, I said, Dad, I've read the breviary almost every day of my life for more than 30 years now. And I can't believe how often I'm like, I've never read that before. And you're like, no,
Yeah.
you read it a million times, right? So basically, when you pray the breviary, there's a month of prayer that you just do over and over since 1993 for me.
Yeah.
And they're lovely, but man, how crazy is it that? And I don't know if Lent. And just this morning, Augustine wrote something, because that's what he does, that just jumped out of the computer. I use the iPad.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Because especially Lent and Easter and Holy Week is the worst. I can't figure out the ribbons. I legit feel bad for Jesus. I do. I can just see him going, bro. You're doing
we have
a Christmas
elderly
prayer.
sisters that I have to, over the years, we've had sisters I've had to just be like, page 329.
Yeah.
And then you have to flip to another ribbon. I'm like, page 1022. Like,
Yeah. All those ribbons.
yeah,
oh
the
my
ribbons.
gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so sis, what was the biggest surprise for you of religious life?
Excellent question. Honestly, the biggest surprise was how my vocation. I hope this doesn't come out wrong, because it's not meant pridefully. Impacts other people. Does that make sense? Without sounding like, I'm amazing.
No,
because that's
I
not
know.
it, right?
Although you are. I mean, objectively, can we agree? Yeah.
Just out of love.
Yeah, everyone here but Marius is in unity that you are amazing.
Well, I didn't have treats, so I understand why
I don't know where the
Marius
demon
is.
went. We might have cast him out.
So when we decided to wear the habit, Father, when we started this, he said, will you wear a habit? I said, I'm not joining unless we do. It was for me. I was thinking about, you're in public, you're having conversations that you're not comfortable with. So, you're in a room and people are talking about living together before marriage.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there going, it's not what God is asking of us, but are you brave enough to speak it?
Yeah.
And if I'm in lay clothes, people don't remember I'm a sister and can be saying things I'm not agreeing with, but am I brave enough to, and at that point I was honest enough with myself to say, I'm not all the time. I mean, I am sometimes by the grace of God. But the habit was meant to put me always in a position of, I can't pretend I'm not a sister.
Yeah.
For comfort's sake, for ease.
Yes.
So what shocked me was how other people were impacted by the habit. A lot of people would say, I haven't seen a sister in 30 years, right? Oh, it's so good to see you in a habit. I once had a woman go, what is this? Like, she just kind of pointed up and down.
And did you say, there is no God but Allah? Did you do that?
I did
Oh,
not.
sister, you got it. I have a buddy who's a nun who did that. Why are you dressed like that? There is no God but Allah. That's what she said. I was like, oh, man.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't. I wouldn't.
You
No.
should consider, if you're not at customs, that can be a great joke.
Let me think. No.
Okay.
Okay, I've considered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's been the most surprising thing, is I thought it was going to be
For you?
for me,
Yeah,
right?
I get you.
And of course, the one thing I've learned is that my vocation is not my own.
Yeah.
Father Roberto pounded it into us for years. It's not just me. This is a vocation for the church, like priesthood is, like marriage is.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just
Absolutely.
me and Jesus, just hanging out together in my room, listening to records, right?
Writing him notes.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
Although I do that, no.
Yeah.
It's universal. It's for the church.
It is.
Right? Everything we do is for the glory of the God and the good of the church.
Yes.
So, and I was in my head, but then to see it practically.
We did have a question about the showing of your mission. So we will record sisters' talks, and then we will post them the next day, right? So
Great.
for those of you wondering / worried, don't worry. You'll see it late, but you'll see it, and that way we figure we can edit out all the cursing. That's what we
Good
were
plan.
really worried
Yeah,
about.
yeah. And the slurring, the parts that I'll
Oh
slur.
yeah. Well, yeah, Noreen.
No, I won't do that.
Okay, good. What is the one word you got? About. How do you say about? Do you say about or whatever?
Yes, a boat.
Say it.
I'm about.
No, that's
I'm about.
normal.
So some people will say a boat.
Okay.
About.
And then there's like about.
About. See, you say about.
About.
Out. Like out. I say
Right.
about. Sounds more like
I
boat.
get it.
It sounds more
Okay.
like boat.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the one that got me? Serviettes versus napkins.
Yes.
Okay.
It's more French. When I was my first year on
Those
net,
wacky French.
I needed a pharmacy, but I couldn't remember the word pharmacy. You know, you have those days.
Oh, yeah.
So I was naming this. We have a chain where I'm from called Shoppers Drug Mart, and I just looked at somebody on my team. I went, I need a Shoppers, and they're like, what's a Shoppers? I was like, oh, what is that word? You know, that place where you get prescriptions and soap, and they're like, pharmacy. I'm like, that's the one. So there's all these like brand names that we use in Canada. And Chesterfield was a brand of couch.
Oh, cigarettes too.
Coach.
Wasn't it?
Chesterfield?
Yeah, when did Chesterfield
I
cigarettes?
was telling Father recently that years ago I was on a plane in South America sitting next to a nun.
Okay.
And I needed a tissue.
Oh, yes.
But I'm trying to look up to ask for it, and I couldn't find, because all I could think of was
Kleenex.
Yeah, couldn't
Right.
think of tissue.
Yeah.
So she took it from me and looked up oxygen, and I'm like, no.
Although Carrie was like, I wouldn't mind some. You know, if you get low, it goes bad.
Weird things happen.
How about are you comfortable sharing what was the biggest challenge? What is the biggest challenge of religious life?
Grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Community life is the biggest challenge, and that can't be a surprise because when you
Oh,
put
yeah.
different people into one
Yes.
living situation, it's
Yeah.
insane, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
so it's a challenge, but it's also really beautiful. When we first started, we'd have a piece of paper on the fridge, write what we need for groceries. I'll go get them. Somebody wrote tea. I picked up Earl Grey. Do you guys have Earl Grey tea?
Yes.
Yeah. And she was like, that's disgusting. And I can't drink that first thing in the morning. I'm like, I don't drink tea, so I don't know.
Right.
So learning little things like if you want something specific, you have to be specific on the
Right.
grocery list, right? Like, those are really, it's the day-to-day things because
yeah.
I just think that this is how you clean a toilet.
That's because you're a
But the
sane and
other
rational
person, right?
Yeah.
But then another person is like, nobody cleans a toilet like that, right? So it's learning those little things
Oh, yeah.
that can, when I talk about it here, it's like it's not important, it's little, but in the moment, in
Oh,
your
it's
emotions,
huge. Oh.
in your tiredness, you're like,
Yeah.
the world is going to end because you don't clean the toilet properly. Is
Oh.
it though? Right?
I feel you. I think it was Saint Benedict, but I'm not sure. Who was the first founder? The founder of the first communal intentional living, who called it, who said, "What living in community is penance enough for anyone." That if he had a nun or a priest in community come to him for confession, he said, "Your penance is your life." Yeah.
Okay, I need to get this cut and copied to my, so I can send it to my spiritual director.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good. He needs to know that this is penance enough.
So, sister, we have reached the dramatic, dare I say, life-altering moment of the interview where we play a game of life and death called, I don't know, have we ever named it?
Speed round. Speed round.
Speed round. What am I thinking?
I don't know.
That's where you and I do some speed. And then, no, wait, that's something else. Sorry. Where
Wait, what?
I'm going to ask you.
That was not in the contract. Wait, what?
I'm going to
Sign the
ask you a
contract?
series of questions,
Okay,
and you have to choose one. And if you don't,
bad things happen.
I don't want to say the world's going to end, but that's probably what's going to happen.
Right,
We've never
okay.
had anyone hate God so much that they refuse to pick one.
Okay, no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. But with that, I just want to make sure you're ready. Like, do you,
I was born ready.
okay, Chevy or Ford?
I don't know what those are. No, I'm just kidding. Ford.
Okay. Text or
Yay!
phone call?
Text.
Yes.
Because I'm young and cool.
Yeah, me too. I'm
Right.
totally down with the hip lingo.
Oh, yeah.
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 And
Kids still say cool?
I
Wait,
have
what?
no idea.
Wow.
Can I tell you about that? There's that. I wrote something, and one of these militant, angry church news services decided I was talking about them. and wrote back, well, if you weren't so busy trying to be cool and instead focused on being a priest, blah, blah, blah. And I wrote back, I'm over 50, I'm overweight, and I'm bald. Cool went out the window for me the same time the word went out of common usage. Seriously, I put that out, and I thought it was one of my cleverest tweets, and then he deleted his. So then mine just sat there percolating, and I'm like, dang it. I was so proud of that.
People need to cooperate.
Yes.
See, now I would have responded, I don't have to try. Cool comes naturally.
Yeah, I just
It just oozes from her.
Right, it oozes from my pores.
It's true.
Movie or book?
Movie.
Nice. iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Yes, Alaska. Oh, wow, this is an American question. So let me try just British Columbia or Newfoundland?
That's really tough.
Nice.
I'm going to go with Newfoundland.
Okay. You've just alienated a lot of Canada, but I don't want you to feel bad.
I don't.
Okay. Coke or Pepsi?
Perrier.
Perrier. You drink Perrier?
I drink sparkling water. Somebody gifted us a Soda Stream.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Oh,
have
nice.
Soda Stream in the
Yeah.
States?
Yeah.
I am addicted to fizzy water with no flavor.
Nice.
I love it.
Water with gas, as they say in Italy.
Yep. Love it.
I love that. The
Yeah.
first time I sat down in Italy at a table and I said, I'll have some water. And they were like, with gas? I'm like, no, I bring my own. I'm like, and I have a lot.
Wow, I
Yeah.
don't know what restaurant you were at, but every restaurant in Italy I was at, every restaurant, 3, they were fizzy or flat. Was the
In
question.
Italy?
In Italy.
I only heard with gas or without gas. And I was like, yeah, I think gas is funny.
You were in a sketchy part.
Oh, yeah. Do you know a guy, this was so wild. They told me about the gypsies.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought I was ready.
You know.
What I wasn't ready for was the clever and bold mix. That there's no guns here.
Yeah.
There's no threat of violence.
No.
It is just... So this cat rolls up in a beautiful car. It was a Mercedes. And like a dummy, I was wearing my collar. Nobody hates priests more than Romans, right? And they even told me, don't wear your collar if you're going to leave this area, right? So I did, because I'm stupid. So I'm standing there, this car rolls up, and this guy starts speaking Italian to me, and I'm like, and I told him, 50-50, right? So basically he was trying to get to the Colosseum. And it never occurred to me, if you can speak Italian to me, you know where
You
the
can
frickin'
find that great big building.
Yeah, and seriously, it was like there. And I'm like, oh, I said, straight at the dead end, turn right. It's right there. You can't miss it. And he was like, no. And he gets this map out, and he's got it against the steering wheel, and he does this. I'm like, so I walk over, and I lean in to point, and grabs my wallet and took
Gone.
off. And I'm like, that was good. That was good. Now, I don't carry much in the wallet, so I'm sure he was disappointed. I always keep that. The wallet to me, didn't I just explain this to you? You put like $3 in your wallet and a credit card you don't use,
Oh, okay.
right? An old credit card.
Oh, okay.
You put the real stuff in your pocket,
Oh, okay.
right? And somebody rolls you out, hey, here's what I got, But Carrie didn't know this.
I didn't know that, but
Really?
why would I?
Yeah, true. Canada.
No, Val Poverty.
I put the accent on the wrong syllable.
I try not to go places where I need to know that.
Come on down to Mount Rosalie. All right. Facebook or Twitter?
Twitter.
Yes.
You are a beast on Twitter.
I love Twitter.
You are a goddess.
Do
you know I hate Twitter, but I do it because I felt like I was supposed to.
And if I'm making this announcement
still
officially
suspended.
now because everybody I know who knows you misses you on Twitter and wants you back.
That's true.
I'm just saying. Do it
No,
that
they
way.
still booted me. I'm
yeah,
still
I
off.
know. I know.
Yeah.
And it's wrong, but there it is. But see, I don't get I don't get those negative things, and
Yeah.
the few that I get, I kind of brush aside. Like,
Yeah.
I lost my luggage, so I posted on Twitter, like, please pray for me, I lost my luggage on flight. And somebody replied, can I say this? Is this
You
okay?
can-
Because
you
I
may say
don't
it.
even know
I
who.
just hate to give him credence, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know who it was. He was like, oh, I'm sure the people of Ukraine wish that losing their luggage was the only thing, right? I'm like, I'm devastated about what's happening in the Ukraine, as is everybody. But it's like, dude, come on. Like,
Yeah.
seriously?
Can't deny
If you
that
got
person
nothing
was-
nice to say, didn't your mother ever teach you? So I tend to just...
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't hear it. It doesn't... I'm not smart enough to see the negativity, I think, too. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just pretty slow that way.
Yeah.
I assume everybody's just being funny on
Yeah.
Twitter, so it's like...
I always assume I don't get the joke.
yeah, me too,
Like,
right?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, it's a funny phenomenon because I was doing great on there until I decided there was people I shouldn't unfollow, right? So there's a few priests that I love, but I gotta unfollow them because then they put the stuff, like Twitter ruined that. It used to be, if I didn't follow you, I didn't see your tweets, right?
It's not like that?
No, like if I follow you and you respond to a tweet,
Right.
they put that tweet on mine.
Okay.
If you like a tweet,
Yeah.
they put it on my feed.
Okay, yeah.
And a couple of these cats, like, people write awful things to priests, especially Catholics. And I have over 500 people blocked. But even if I block you,
Yeah.
if you retweet them, I see it.
Really?
So if I block Carrie and you retweet Carrie, I see it. And it drives me nuts because I lack. Most days I can do fine, but if I'm tired,
Yes.
or if I'm feeling like, you know what, I can bring some clarity here, and I keep forgetting, no, these aren't reasonable humans,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And so Twitter, I'm so much happier off of it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Truly, like, it's
Sure.
weird how much I like not being, and Carrie will tell you, I say I hate Twitter, and I have.
I hear
the
that a
whole
lot
time.
from people.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just such a dark corner.
Yeah.
And I think you wrote something about this, and like the the ability of people I don't know, who I don't follow, to send me messages. I end up overwhelmed with their need.
Right.
And I've got enough need there and there and
Sure,
there and here.
absolutely.
And so I'm not sure what to do because I definitely love not being on there.
Yes.
Except baseball. I'm going to miss it so much, right? Because
okay.
I loved, like, did you see that pitch? Right? Because some people appreciate it and some people, it's a pitch. But, you know, like you, Darvish, I'll never forget this. Last year threw this vicious sinker. And I was just like, I've watched baseball my whole life. I've never seen a sinker like that. And like 10 other losers were like, oh my gosh, you know, everybody was, blah, 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 blah. It was all, you know, that was cool. Because that's a small community of people who will look and go, oh my gosh. You know, the batter literally stopped and looked and went, and nodded at him like, oh my gosh. But anyway, sorry.
No.
So Facebook, okay, cat or dog?
Dog.
Yes.
Don't tell the sisters of my convent because we have a cat.
What did you name it?
I didn't name it anything.
What
the
is
cat
its
was
name?
her name is Sophie, and Sophie and I have worked out a relationship
Okay.
whereby I ignore her and
Yeah.
she ignores me,
They're
and we
demons.
do well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know, although, did you read Gabriel Amorth's book on exorcisms? You know, he
No.
the world's leading exorcist for a long time until he died. Then he stopped doing exorcisms. It's so weird.
That's just lazy.
He was talking about sometimes he would bring a cat or a dog with him because they see it.
Yeah.
And he said the funniest thing. He said if dogs see an evil spirit, they either snarl or they run. He said if cats see an evil spirit, they want to fight. He said it is hysterical. Like their fur goes up and they get closer, right? Like, let's do this, you know? And he's like, so that was one of the ways he would test, you know, if he couldn't figure out, is that person really possessed?
Sure,
or is this,
yeah.
you know, is it possession? Is it harassment? Is it, you know? And he said it was, cats could tell
Cats
you.
could tell.
Dogs could tell you. Dogs would always get between the human and the thing.
Right.
And cats would just be like, we're going to fight.
Bring it.
Yeah. Isn't that a riot? Okay. MSU or some lesser college?
Any other
MSU.
college?
It has to be MSU.
Yeah, MSU. Okay, I hear you. Cake or pie?
Otherwise, I have to hit
Cake.
the ejection seat.
Unless it's sugar pie.
Sugar pie? Talk to me, Goose.
So I honestly, I'm not sure what's in these. It's a French tradition.
Okay.
And it's, as far as I can tell, it's basically just
Sugar.
sugar
In a pie.
and carnation milk. Yeah, that condensed milk, I think.
Custard?
No, it's thicker than a custard because
Okay.
it has to set under the crust. But it's basically, I think it's just brown. I think originally it was probably like maple syrup, right? Because the French in Quebec would do the
Oh,
whole.
sure.
And they're really hard to find outside of Ontario, but
Okay.
it's just, yep.
Sugar
Amazing.
pie.
Sugar pie. They're really hard to find. Don't go looking. Trust me. They're amazing. But
Do they
they're
have
fun.
recipes? Maybe I can make one.
They do have recipes. I
But they're
don't
not.
bake. So, but cake is mine. I know you guys have had this conversation. I was working and listening to the show once about cheesecake.
Cheesecake is pie.
Okay, then I have to change my answer to pie because cheesecake
Cheesecake is pie.
rules.
Cheesecake is good,
It's amazing.
but it's not cake.
It changed my life.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
gonna say.
Do you know we had, how do you say the word punchki? Punchki?
Punchki.
Say it.
Punchki.
Poochki. Okay.
Marianne
Huh?
was after me to get these instead of donuts on Fat Tuesday.
Oh,
I was like,
sis.
I don't understand.
So she gives, it was her and Genevieve, and they cut them into little pieces because these are females. Right.
Well,
Men would have just plunged them
There
into
was a
our.
variety, and I wanted to taste all of them.
See, so males would have seen a variety and went, I'll eat each one. And they were like, let's just cut little pieces out of it so we can find. So anyway, she hands me one of these samples and she says, give it a go. And she was ambiguous enough where I knew it was either going to be dog poop or amazing.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like she didn't give me the, you're going to love this. It was,
Oh, right.
try
Try
this.
this.
That look. And I put this thing in my mouth and it was as if angel wings and
Right, yes.
I was eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and it didn't look like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and it was a peanut but it just looked like a punch key. I keep saying the word wrong. It just looked like one, but when you put it in your mouth, like two fairies appeared and quickly made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and shoved it in your mouth.
That's
I think
amazing.
that was it.
It's the only way I eat peanut butter is either with chocolate or in a peanut butter and jam sandwich.
How about peanut butter and honey?
No,
No.
no, absolutely not. That's absurd. As is peanut butter and banana.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
That's what?
That's
butter on an
del-
apple.
No.
Peanut butter what?
No, on an
an
apple.
apple.
Peanut butter
No.
and carrots.
That sounds
No.
It is good.
Carrie,
good. On a carrot. Oh,
everything
for
has
her.
just changed.
pray for her.
I'm gonna just excuse me
Why
while I
not
weep in
honey?
the
Do you like
corner.
honey?
Nah. This is my answer to honey.
Okay.
Meh.
Okay, Senator says what? I don't
No,
know if
she
you'll know
doesn't.
this one. Euchre or pinochle? Does that question make sense?
No.
Okay. Hot dog or hamburger?
Hamburger.
Loser. Highway or back roads?
Highway.
Life is a highway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Canadian-
Bacon or Canadian
Bacon. Bacon.
Okay.
Bacon.
What do you guys
bacon.
call it? Back bacon.
Back bacon. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it looks more like, it would look like ham to you.
Yeah.
And it's not. They cover it in this pea meal stuff. It's no.
No.
What?
But just straight
Canadian.
up bacon. How you doing?
Straight up bacon comes from heaven.
Oh,
My
yeah.
sister on Facebook yesterday, seeing my struggle in the airport, she goes, "Just eat bacon." I said, "It's Ash Wednesday. What are you doing to
Oh,
me?"
that's right. And you couldn't get
I
a
couldn't.
freebie. You couldn't get a freebie. There was no priest there to say, I dispense you,
no.
loser. See,
Nope.
I've
For
been
your
there.
troubles.
Yeah. I just
So it was a real, you don't know sacrifice.
Yeah.
I couldn't have bacon at the airport yesterday.
Yeah.
My life is sacrifice.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
I actually saw Jesus go, whoa.
Right?
Yeah, I had a vision of Jesus go, whoa.
Exactly.
Augustine or Aquinas?
Bonaventure. Yes.
Ooh.
Oh,
Okay. All right, girl. I
what
got
did you
you.
expect?
Wine or beer?
Wine.
Really?
I was a
Wine or
I was a
cocktail?
bartender once
Once.
for a,
You mean like one event?
For 14
for
years.
summer.
It was just for 14 years.
Okay.
For a summer at a private yacht club. Ooh la la. And my second shift was after a regatta. I had to restock the beer fridge. Went into the supply closet, bumped this enormous stack of beer, 3 huge cases fell down. 2 bottles broke out of 3 cases, and both bottles broke on me at the beginning of my shift. Stunk
Nice.
like beer for 6 hours and have never tasted beer
I
since.
can see that happening.
Oh, even now.
I can.
I also sold hot dogs for summer, which is why I picked hamburgers.
Yeah, but
because
they
I
were
still
Canadian
can't.
hot dogs.
I don't know what that means. I still
They
can't.
weren't real. No offense. But Americans
take it.
do. You guys can do that poutine. Poutine?
Poutine.
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 And we can do, right, so poutine is this dish that invades Ukraine. Like, it's potatoes, gravy.
Rip off the
It's
microphone.
potatoes, gravy.
I've had enough.
It is divine.
Yeah, cheese curds,
Like-
gravy, French fries, so good.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Excuse me while I wipe.
Yeah, I know. I'm over here getting emotional. The best I can't say the word.
Poutine.
Poutine that I've had in the U.S. is at Lansing Brewing Company. And they had a Canadian guy on staff who was
yeah.
like, here's how you do it.
Here, this is it.
Yeah, because apparently we are doing it wrong in the U.S. Something
That
about the
sounds
cheese,
surprising.
and we aren't using cheese curds or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
And we don't use cheese curds, we use cheesy Rockies.
I don't understand
Anybody?
the words that are just coming out of his mouth.
That was funny, don't you think?
That's funny.
Oh my gosh, that was my best one today. We don't use cheese curds, we use cheese Rockies. Okay.
It's nice.
Okay, so what did we establish? You said wine over beer, cocktail or wine?
Cocktail.
And what is our cocktail of choice?
Well, I don't know what you mean by cocktail, but I'm talking like rum and Coke.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
That's cocktail. Okay. So that's yours of choice.
Yeah.
Okay. Hot dogs. We do have to get you Kogel so you can experience what a real hot dog. I've had Canadian hot dogs and it was hilarious. Seriously, I was like, I don't know what that is. It looks like a hot dog, but
Walks
it
like a
tastes
hot dog.
yeah, it tastes like a nuclear fuel rod. One of those spent fuel rods from nuclear reactors.
Looks like a hot dog, walks like a hot dog, but
Yeah.
it's not a hot dog.
I asked it, "Are you a hot dog?" I said, "Oui." I'm like, "Oh, he's French."
Sketchy.
Hiking or biking?
Car?
Pool or beach?
Beach.
I can't ask this next one.
Do it. She had a life before. Maybe
I
she
know,
didn't
but I just feel like I lose man. I just can't even say, okay, girls' night out or spa day?
Girls' night out.
New car or classic car?
New car.
Nice.
That's fellas, right?
Well, sis, that's us for today.
Okay.
And oh, look at the screen, she's saying. I am so enjoying your conversation. Sisters are human too. I was taught by mercy nuns.
I just thought that was an amazing comment.
Me too. Me too.
One
You know,
last
and
question.
I was the
People
same
are
way.
busy.
I gotta say, the first nun in a habit I remember meeting was seminary.
Okay.
But I didn't even know they existed anymore.
Yeah.
And we had the super angry ones in skirts and
Blazers.
and you know, all they did was say everything before Vatican II was horrible and evil and everything now was glorious. And it was so hard for us because we were like, this doesn't feel glorious.
I don't understand the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have that in Canada too?
We do a little bit. I will say that while I was studying, we stayed with a community of sisters in Ontario who had made the decision to remove the habit. They're still there. The most beautiful community of women
Oh,
who
praise
have, they didn't get vocations, so they're down to a very small number.
Sure.
Their oldest sister is 110.
Okay.
I know. Yeah, she's shorter than me, so that's
Nice.
saying something. And they are amazing, and they have embraced what they believe God is asking of them, and they
Nice.
have been. So I don't want people to think that I'm some kind of like habit snob, like if they don't wear a hat,
no.
right?
No.
But there is that element of because I have met nuns who are angry, and I often wonder. Why? Like, are you happy in your vocation?
Right.
Because I can't tell, which you should be. You should.
Oh, I agree. And I like at seminary, and I should have said this too, there were nuns who didn't wear habits, and these women were next level. I mean, it's just the ones I grew up with.
Yes.
Were very few in number,
Yeah.
and they dressed like civilians, and truly, like, they always, it just seemed like evangelization was telling you the church before Vatican II was awful,
Yeah.
and the church now is glorious.
Yes.
And it felt a little bit like when you see those North Korean propaganda
Yeah,
things
yeah.
where you're like, I'm in a prison camp. I don't think this is the workers' paradise.
Yeah.
Sister, how's your mom? Someone asked.
My mom is very good. I don't know if you know, I put it out on Twitter asking people to pray because she had to go to the emergency room. Her blood pressure just goes skyrockets for no apparent reason. And the problem was we had COVID restrictions, so I couldn't go in and be with her. I was sitting in the parking lot, which was a whole other nightmare. But they got it down and they sent her home, and she follows up with her doctor. And
praise
she's
God.
85 and she's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. She did. She almost never regrets it.
Hey, just that one few
Just,
times
you
a
know,
day.
a couple times.
A
Did
day.
some stuff.
Yeah.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Just that brief 14-year,
Right.
career.
Yeah.
So, okay, so sis, if people want to see you, they need to come here to Holy Family on
Monday, Tuesday,
Monday,
Wednesday.
Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Right.
And you will be speaking from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Right.
No
yes.
breaks.
No breaks.
Right.
Straight through.
It's 6 p.m., right?
Yes.
6 or 6:30. I don't know. You people
I
are
can't remember.
organized.
Yeah,
Somebody's going to
Actually, I
bring me
think
in.
at 6:30 we have mass.
It is.
Yeah, 6.
Okay, Mass at 6, you're on at 6:30. And we are so excited. You being here is an answer to our prayers.
Thank you.
And we love you so much.
Thank you.
And Lori wants me to tell you how proud she is of you. And let's see, in fact, if she sent any. Oh, no, that's really hateful what she wrote here. Lori has anger issues.
Oh, okay.
Right?
There you
See,
go.
like, listen to this. Stop everything and give that awesome woman a hug.
Aww.
And then she sent a text with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hearts. And then sister is right. Sister is always right. And then my favorite sister. So clearly, and Lori's not like, Lori is an all business texter, right? And it's her job. You know, she's got one of those jobs where she's just getting hammered at all the time. And every once in a while, my family will do a text group, and we're all insane. So somebody eventually has to say, like it's usually Lori or Paul, just so you guys know I work for a living. You know, oops, sorry, you know. And so Lori's all business on the text, and look at that. This is how wonderful you are. So thank you with all of my heart. And we are so geeked out for next week. What we'll do now is I'll wrap us up with a prayer, and then will Sister be here tomorrow to
I was
watch?
thinking about
or
that. Yeah, she
do you
can
want
come
to
and
come and
help
watch the
answer
question
questions.
and
I
answer?
do want to watch the question.
Sweet, she could be my lovely research assistant
can.
if you want.
I do want.
Sweet. Can you use? Can
Can
get
I?
after it?
Like a madman.
Yes. Okay, so I will double what we're paying you for today.
No, you couldn't. It's too much. It's too much.
Sister, don't make me triple it. So, okay, well, in the words of Martha, Queen Goddess, do you know what? I think Martha needs the title Queen Goddess of Quantum Catechesis.
There you go.
And then Karen gets the title Supreme Dictator for Life.
I
What do you think?
those both
Yeah?
make
Does that work
absolute
for you
sense.
guys? Okay.
They want Jesus points.
Oh, they
Yes.
have. Do you know what? Here's the thing, and I mean this, and you know I'm gonna look over here because I'm gonna get gooey. Like Martha was this was just me trying to be practical about COVID. So many people I talked to were scared and alone. And so it was just, hey, I kept saying to Carrie, we can never get people to come and try the church. And maybe they're just bored enough. And really, because people had a lot of free time at the beginning of the pandemic. And I was like, maybe we can teach them about Jesus. And I mean, I'm in love, and I want everybody in love. And Martha was one of the first people to send me something lovely. And I told her this, and it was like, I miss my mom, like, every day. And I'm happy for her, obviously.
Of course.
But to see someone named Martha, right, which is not a common name, and of course, because it's not for common people.
No.
And then Karen wrote me the most beautiful letter at Christmas. I mean, unreal. I kept it, right? And about the work you guys do and with the hospital, and you know how it goes. It's like you said with the habit thing. Most days, I feel like I love what I'm doing, but I can't imagine it's useful because when you, it feels like it should be harder or something. I don't know.
You end up. I think what happens with a lot of priests is.
Yeah.
People don't tend to come to Father and say, "Great job." They tend to come to Father and go, "What are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man."
Yeah.
And so one of the things I'm trying to encourage people to do is like reach out to priests and tell them they're doing good jobs. The priests in our diocese went on a retreat, and the speaker started off by saying, "You have to remember, you're good people."
Yeah.
You
that's
have to
the hard
remember
part.
because
Never feels
people
like it.
aren't right, and
Yeah.
we've got abuse scandals, and we have the residential school thing going on, right? And so it's easy for you guys to forget you're good people, and we are blessed by your
Holy
vocation, and
We love you.
we wouldn't have
Oh, I
Jesus.
love you guys.
We wouldn't have Jesus in the palm of our hands without you.
Isn't that crazy? Yikes. You know, it's funny. I never, till you said that, you're good people. Like, if you put a group of priests together, in front of God's people, no. But that would be we're defined. Yeah, I just got one the other day. Remember that? I showed Karen, like, whoo! And it was, I'm awful. Right, and I ruined the church, you know, and blah blah blah, and I always I think a holy pride in we answer emergency calls. If you call, we come.
Right.
And I apparently missed somebody, and I don't even know how.
Yeah.
And man.
Yeah.
And you know, and of course, I hit 6 last week, 6 emergency calls. I hit those, but I don't remember those. I remember.
You'll remember the
that
one you missed.
And so, yeah, you do. You get in your head.
Yep.
But I am so grateful to Jesus for these two, and it's one of those where I wrestle. I don't feel deserving of that love.
You're not.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
none of us are,
Yeah.
right? It's not because you're a terrible person. It's just we're human and we don't deserve it, but God pours it out through other people for us. And we have to be humble enough to accept it. It's not humility to say, no, I'm a terrible person, right? It's humility to be able to say, thank you.
Yeah. Well, Martha usually writes that, you're a terrible person, but it's good for me to love you. That's what she often writes. Yeah.
Too.
Something about getting more graces.
Oh, yeah, and Jesus points.
Yeah, Jesus points.
Yeah.
No, she wouldn't.
Which I've never gotten.
What?
I think probably because every comment I write is smart aleck.
No, that accrues Jesus points. So maybe you didn't see that in your contract, because you may remember we had to make sure you didn't even see a green M&M.
Right.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. That was in
and
my.
we had all those in
Yeah,
all
yeah,
your riders. But we also put in there, you're receiving 50 Jesus points a night, which shatters the previous record.
Okay.
Right? Like Jesus dying and rising from the dead, he got about 15 Jesus points.
Well, this all makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
150 by the time you get back on that plane.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna need them.
now you can turn those in as frequent flyer miles. Don't try, but trust me.
Don't
So
look into
basically,
it.
by the time you leave, because you're going to be here like 6 days, right?
I know.
So how many? What's 6 times? Huh?
8 days.
300.
8 days.
What's
She's
8
working
times?
for 3.
I know. I'm here all this time, and I'm like, when you guys sent me the schedule, I was like, this is awesome, insane. I hope they don't realize
we
how
just
little I'm
wanna
doing for
spoil
them
you.
because
We
No,
do.
you're doing a ton, but you know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting a little R&R during that. Just don't tell anybody.
it's a secret.
between us
It's a
girls.
secret.
I was seeing if Lori wrote you back. No.
No, she doesn't love me anymore.
No. She was like, I hate that shit.
She's doing real work. She doesn't have time for this madness.
Oh, I know. Do you know where she's working now? She's NCR in Kansas City.
I knew she was in Kansas
Yeah, my girl.
Yeah.
Love that chick. Okay, so what we're going to do is pray, and I thank Jesus for these truly angels, right?
Definitely.
And I thank Jesus that you're here. And you saw a glimpse of like all that Carrie does. Like, isn't it insane?
It's
like,
Ridiculous.
I couldn't work without her.
It's Lori. Watch this. We're trying to pray. Lori, you're on the show right now. She has to tell them. Can I put you on speaker?
Yes.
You're in my hearing aids. Okay, hold on. Okay, test.
Hello.
That's my sister. Yay. This is my sister Lori. She's the queen goddess of our family.
And I think my principal job in life is to follow Joe and correct disinformation.
She's drunk right now. Yeah. She can't
That's
hear
a
me. Don't
full-time
worry.
job, Lori.
I just have to say how happy I am that you're there, sister, and how well I remember meeting that faithful young woman who I met all those years ago. And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I love you, and I know that this is going to be an awesome week at Holy Family. Thank you for saying yes.
Thank you. I love you.
Oh, I love you too. And when you're done, please punch Joe on the left arm as hard as you can.
Okay, that's out loud.
Trust me, he deserves it.
Okay.
Sometimes I ask Dad just to randomly punch him and say, he knows why.
That's
I'm on
actually
it.
true.
I'm on it.
That's actually true.
I'm on it.
Yes.
I'll be praying.
Okay, love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Oh, I love that chick so much. Okay. So, salad, pray. And, yay. Okay. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Father, from the rising of the sun to its setting, your people are present. And we thank you for Sister traveling all this way to come and help us be closer to you. We thank you so much for Martha and Karen and for their love and support. We thank you for Carrie and all of her hard work. Thank you for all the kind people who watch this show and are supportive and helpful. Thank you, Lord. What we ask for is that your Holy Spirit go ahead of Sister into our church and prepare every spot in that church. We ask that if Sister's nervous, that you calm her heart and lift her from any bizarre expectations, and instead help her to just rest content and how loving and good God is through her. Heavenly Father, please bless the people of Ukraine and bless those soldiers who don't want to be there on behalf of Russia and just want to be home. Protect everybody, Lord, and bring a peace that no one sees coming but you. Comfort those who've lost their homes, their loved ones, their sense of security and stability. Protect those who have to do hard things now. And Lord, you know all of these people that we lug around in our heart because we love them so much and we worry, and you know about all those circumstances that we carry and are frightened about, and we give all of them to you, and we love you so much and we trust you. And may the blessings of Almighty God be with you all, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Screaming goat time, sis. Where did I put mine? I don't know. All right, you're going to have to carry the screaming goat. Wait. We will see you beautiful people tomorrow when we do question and answer with my lovely new research assistant. Is it over?
No, it's never over.